それが私の本当の名前です。他のことについてはよく覚えていません。私には断片的な記憶しかありません。同胞、オリジニウム、使命、反抗、戦争。どうしてその中にあなたの姿が見えるのでしょうか。
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Nightingale, a 6-star AoE medic. Nightingale is an AoE medic that specializes in odds persistence. Being a 6-star, Nightingale has the highest base attack out of all existed AoE medics right now. Usually, Nightingale is used when enemies have a lot of odds damage such as casters, odds drones, and odds bosses. When using Nightingale on such scenarios, Nightingale makes the operation so much easier. Like how we usually do, let's talk about Nightingale's talent first. Nightingale's talent, White Fiend's Protection, is a talent that's available at Elite 1. This talent allows Nightingale to provide odds resistance to all allies up to 17 points. This allows allies to get reduced damage when taking odds damage. Nightingale's second talent, Bleeding Phantom, is a talent that's available at Elite 2. This talent allows Nightingale to summon a Phantom. This Phantom cannot attack nor it can block enemies, but this Phantom has 75% odds resistance, 30% physical dodge, high HP, and will be more likely to get targeted by enemies. The Phantom will lose 3% HP every seconds. This Phantom is definitely a good skill to taunt enemies while Nightingale heals our allies or when you need a breather to take less damage from enemies. Not to mention, the Phantom benefits Nightingale's first talent and also ignore deployment limit. This Phantom alone is already a good reason for Nightingale to be used on less odds involved maps. Let's take a look on Nightingale's second skill, Odds Shield. I'll skip her first skill because it's a generic attack buff. This skill allows Nightingale to provide shield that absorbs odds damage by up to 90% of Nightingale's attack, while also provide odds resistance by 20 points for 5 seconds on her next skill. This is a good skill if you want more consistent odds resistance. A good example for this is when you're facing casters, where they often cast their attacks for a few seconds each. Now let's take a look on how this skill performs, shall we? Let's take a look on Nightingale's third skill, Sanctuary. This skill allows Nightingale to increase her range like White Sniper's range. Additionally, she will increase her attack up to 80%, increase odds resistance of allies within range by 150%, and increase allies within range odds dodge by 25%. On a side note, Nightingale's Phantom benefits from this skill as well, allowing the Phantom to get 100% odds resistance. Arguably, this is Nightingale's go-to skill because this skill is more powerful when it comes to odds resistance and also has very long duration by 1 minute. Usually, you will get pressured not more than one time on a single battle anyway, unless it's hard mode stages or annihilation, which is why this skill is definitely Nightingale's go-to skill most of the time. Especially the fact that this skill increases your range, odds resistance, and also give odds touch to allies. Even if her skill duration is over, your allies will still have odds resistance provided by Nightingale's talent. Anyway, let's take a look at how this skill performs. As a 6-star AoE medic, I have to say that Nightingale is definitely worth her title. Medic's main priority is to keep your allies alive, and can Nightingale do that? Yes, she can do that very well. Her niche is very powerful, and usually stages with arts damage are really hard, which is very notable on certain CC stages like the Arts Throne, and also CC3 where arts damage are everywhere. Not to mention, upcoming Chapter 8 will also involve a lot of arts damage, which will make Nightingale shine the most because her arts resistance are very powerful to keep your allies alive. However, this also reduces Nightingale's usage by a lot, because she is a master when it comes to arts resistance, but does not provide a lot of utility other than her Phantom that taunt enemies. While it's true that her Phantom can be pretty powerful, Rifle can pretty much do the same thing, especially that she still does the job well even at Elite 1. Not all stages in Arknights are arts involved, which is the main reason why Nightingale is not needed most of the time, especially that Ptilopsis and Perfumer provides much better utility than Nightingale on normal stages. Speaking of Ptilopsis and Perfumer, let's do some discussion between the three.
本気で行くよ。ごきげんよう、ドクター。一緒に紅茶でもいかが？
Now the main reason why I don't include Breeze in here is because when it comes to utility, she provides resist buff to medics and supporters, which is not that needed most of the time. Her healing is very high though for an AoE medic, and I don't think she is a bad operator. In fact, quite underrated. However, it's hard to justify the red certificate to buy her, especially she is relatively expensive, and most of the time people use the red certificate for early 2 material. Also, Nightingale, Ptilopsis, and Perfumer are arguably more mentioned in the game, which is why I don't include Breeze. Anyway, there are 3 candidates of AoE medics in here: Nightingale, Ptilopsis, and Perfumer. In terms of utility, Nightingale provides art resistance, Ptilopsis provides SP battery, and Perfumer provides passive healing, which is the same like Angelina's talent. Now, I want you to think, in your opinion at least, which order do you think are the most useful and the most niche? I'll give you 5 seconds. Done? Good. Now, in my opinion, the most useful utility are in my order. Number 1 is Ptilopsis, number 2 is Perfumer, and number 3 is Nightingale. The thing is, all 3 medics can keep your allies alive, but Ptilopsis and Perfumer's utility are much more useful on most operations than Nightingale's. For Ptilopsis' case, it's very obvious because her SP battery is much more useful in terms of offense, which is something that you want to do in each operations anyway, clear the stage as fast as possible. Not to mention, being an SP battery not only useful on offense, but also defense as her SP battery is global, not individual like Nostima. Obviously, her SP battery is only usable on allies with first second recovery, but since most on attack or on defense recovery skills are not that popular anyway, it's already obvious why Ptilopsis is more superior when it comes to utility. Next up is Perfumer. The reason why I picked Perfumer's utility is more useful than Nightingale's is because her passive healing is used globally, just like Angelina's talent. Because of this, you can use her talent on operators that cannot get killed directly, such as Usage, Elagur, Falcon, and the upcoming operator Madrock. This talent is also good counter to poison mid stages such as H43, which until today I actually still have hard time in that stages regardless of me using Ptilopsis. It is true that her passive healing is not that high, but if you compare it to Nightingale's heart resistance, it's less niche and can be used anywhere. As a matter of fact, Perfumer is one of the low gravity operators that scales well until late game. Now why I rate Nightingale so lowly out of the 3? Well, like I mentioned earlier, Nightingale's arts resistance is very niche and not all operations involve arts. This case is also the same like Shining, as you don't necessarily need extra defense on all stages, especially that most of the time you delete your enemies very fast anyway. A lot of people say that Nightingale is not worth investing and trash, but for this case, I strongly disagree. It is true that Nightingale is very niche, but this niche is also very game changing on stages with a lot of arts damage involved, to the fact even Ptilopsis and Perfumer are not your first choice anymore. I mean, yes, you can technically use them, but if you have better option to face arts damage and survive better, wouldn't it better to pick that better option instead? Besides, providing arts resistance is very rare, and in fact, only Nightingale that can do that. Well, technically, Tsukinogi can do that, but compared with Nightingale, Tsukinogi is not the most ideal since her talent is very hard and very risky to work with. So, for me, in terms of survival, then I have to say that Nightingale is way more superior than Ptilopsis and Perfumer. At the end of the day, Nightingale is a very powerful medic and can be a game changer in terms of arts-heavy operations. But the question is, do I recommend building Nightingale? Yes, but don't prioritize building her. I would say if you want a consistent AoE medic that is usable anywhere, then I'd say build Ptilopsis first. If you don't have her, then I'd say go for Perfumer because she is way cheaper to build than Nightingale and also usable anywhere. Nightingale is a very late game operator and not really that suitable on early mid game, but once you build her, she can make your late game operations so much easier. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button because it will help my channel a lot. Be sure to also hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any of my new videos I post every single week. As always, thank you to my supporters. If you want to support me, you can join the Patreon or donate at PayPal or Coffee. The link is in the description down below. Thanks for your support and I'll see you guys on the next video. Stay safe everyone, peace out.